it's Julie from Lady Bits PT. Today I thought we would do a little video of tips and tricks for retraining an overactive bladder. So there's a lot of, I think, confusion out there about who's controlling who when it comes to these overactive bladders. So let's talk about the anatomy and figure out how you can be back in control of your own bladder. So what is a bladder? So think of it like a little water balloon that is meant to fill and hold and empty. So it's supposed to fill and hold. It's supposed to fill and hold enough so that you could go between 3 and 4 hours in between voiding. But if you find yourself feeling like you have to pee every hour, every 90 minutes, and then suddenly you're peeing 12 times a day, and then you're getting up 3 or 4 times a night, that's really going to impact your life. And then you develop this bathroom radar where you're always looking for the toilet and you can't sleep through the night. So it really does start to impact your quality of life and your health if you're getting up multiple times a night because of your overactive bladder. So how are we going to retrain this bladder and get it to be normal again? Let's figure out really what's going on. So you have your bladder and it's surrounded by this muscle called a detrusor muscle. So that muscle is wonderful because when it squeezes, it helps to empty your bladder and get everything out, which is good, which is what you want. But just like any muscle, it can maybe not behave as normally or act as normally as it should. So sometimes you need a little help retraining that system. So let's talk about what can sabotage you and make you have to pee more often so you know what to avoid. So there's bad bladder habits and there are good bladder habits. So bad habits would be peeing just in case. So the famous one would be like, oh, we're gonna go somewhere, everybody go pee, even if you don't have to, or just because you're gonna leave your house, or because you're gonna go grocery shopping, or whatever it is, the just in case pee basically sends a signal to your bladder that says, you don't have to fill. It's fine, we're just gonna empty you all the time anyway. So by constantly peeing, you're constantly emptying your bladder and it doesn't even get the experience of filling and stretching as it should. So because it's surrounded by a muscular wall, it is meant to fill and stretch, and there are stretch receptors in that muscular wall. So normally it should be able to fill all the way up and then start to stretch, and your body gets signals of, oh, my bladder's filling, and then 30, 40 minutes later, boy, it's really filling. A little while after that, boy, I can feel the pressure. So you get a couple different signals of what's going on under normal circumstances. However, if you've been in the habit of going just in case and peeing quite a bit, those signals get a little overactive. So let's avoid peeing just in case, because you don't want to sabotage your bladder into letting it become the boss of you. So that's number 1. So no peeing just in case. Number 2, no getting constipated because a big full rectum is just going to lean forward and push on that bladder. So if you're not going a nice, smooth, beautiful snake every day, which is ideal. Some people are every other day, some people are 3 times a day, but for those big, wonderful vegetable eaters out there. But you definitely want to have good, effortless poos every day, no straining. That's really important so a big, full rectum doesn't lean on the bladder. So no peeing just in case, no getting constipated. All right, let's talk about what you're eating and what you're drinking. There are bladder irritants. So we know the famous ones. Caffeine makes you have to go more often. So if you're drinking 3, 4, 5 cups a day, you're kind of sabotaging yourself there. So you might want to cut that down so you're not irritating your bladder so much. Other foods that are high in acid, such as tomatoes. I hate to say chocolate because I love chocolate, but chocolate can be irritating. Citrus can be irritating. So those are the things, if you feel like you have a really sensitive bladder, you might want to avoid, and you can find more things when you just look online and look at bladder irritants. You'll find a whole bunch of different things. So avoiding bladder irritants. Soda is your worst enemy. Oh my goodness, put the soda down. You don't need it. It's just going to sabotage you. In fact, any carbonated beverage, even if it's just sparkling mineral water, is going to make you have to go much sooner, much faster. So just important to be aware of that we know soda's not good for us, but carbonated bubbly water you might think is harmless, and it's not necessarily bad for you. It's just going to make you have to pee more often. So be aware of that. Another mistake a lot of my patients make is they stop drinking. They think, I don't want to pee so much, so I'm just not going to drink. They think the less that I drink, the less I have to pee. But that's actually sabotage, because the bottom of your bladder, the base of the bladder, has a ton of nerves, and they're really sensitive, and they're going to pick up on what's sitting in the bottom of your bladder. So think of the lining of your bladder, the inside wall, as having almost like a silicone layer, a very sensitive layer. So if you're not drinking enough water, your urine is going to get very concentrated. You're going to smell it and you're going to see it. So when you urinate, if you can see dark yellow in that toilet, it's too concentrated and you're dehydrated. If you can smell it, that's too concentrated. So faint yellow, maybe the color of straw, shouldn't have much of a smell. That's really what you're going for. It does not need to be clear, but you definitely don't want it dark yellow. So when you get that really concentrated urine, it's going to irritate the lining of your bladder, and your bladder is so sensitive and those nerves on the bottom are so sensitive. So even if you've only drank a little bit of water, now you have really concentrated urine just eating away at that acidic urine, just, I don't want to say eating away, but really irritating that lining of the bladder and really talking to those nerves on the base of the bladder. So it might be counterintuitive, but drink more if you want to pee less. So start to watch yourself, and you may notice that the more dehydrated you are, the more you feel like you have to go, but you're only going these little bits. It's because that bladder is so irritated, it wants to get rid of that concentrated urine. It doesn't want to hold on to that really acidic urine. So stay hydrated. How much should you be drinking is the next question. There's a lot of different schools of thought on this. There's, half an ounce for every pound of body weight. But I feel like once you get, if you're a little obese, that's just so much water to take in. If you're already on a diuretic, you're in a big challenge. So really, I just say keep drinking. You want to drink at least 60, 80 ounces a day. I mean, at least that's a really good place to be. But it's a challenge to just sit and drink a whole glass of water. So my tip is put a straw in it, take 3 sips, put it down, walk away. Come back 15, 20 minutes later, 3 sips, put it down, walk away. So you can increase your daily water intake simply by thinking, I'm going to have 3 swallows. Every 20 minutes, I'm going to have 3 swallows, and you will be shocked at how much more water you take in every day by getting these little doses. So that's going to make a huge difference. We need more water in the system, so we have less concentrated urine, so we've got a happier bladder lining and a happier bladder. Okay, now the third component, retraining this bladder so that it can hold more. So you've seen my other video on how to suppress the urge when you really have to pee. Go back and watch that video, because you're going to use that trick to start to rewire and retrain that bladder. So if that bladder is in the habit of letting you know very quickly, every hour, it's time to go, it's time to go, it's time to go, you're going to need to practice urge suppression. So watch that video, calm down that breath, distract your mind, stop, squeeze your pelvic floor, send that signal to that muscle around your bladder to stop squeezing it. So go back and watch that video if you don't remember. But you're going to start to use that urge suppression. So you're going to take a bladder diary, take 2 or 3 days, and just write down every time you pee, from the time you wake up till the time you go to bed. And just write down, I peed, it was a lot or a little. You can just write it down just to have a diary, and go back and look on that diary. Notice, what are your patterns? Are you peeing a whole lot in the morning because you're drinking a lot of caffeine and then not very much the rest of the day? Or are you just peeing like crazy all day long? Why don't you write it down for a couple days and look at your patterns and start to recognize, wow, look, I'm going every hour, in the morning, or every hour and a half. And now you're going to use the urge suppression. So when you get your first urge to pee, obviously go first thing in the morning, right out of bed, don't suppress that, just go pee. But for the rest of the day, when you get that urge, do the urge suppression, see if you can wait 15 minutes before your next void. And what you'll do is, each week you can say, okay, well, every time I feel the need to pee, I'm just going to do my urge suppression and wait 15 minutes. And so you'll notice by the end of 1 week, instead of peeing every hour, you're peeing every hour and 15 minutes. And then the next week, say, okay, now I'm going to wait another 15 minutes. So your bladder's letting you know every hour and 15 minutes it wants to go, and you're going to do your little urge suppression, going to wait an extra 15 minutes, and then you're at every hour and a half. And each week you just add on to that. It's not an overnight change. These things just take a little bit of time, but you're going to add, 15 minutes each week, and over time, now instead of peeing every hour, you're peeing every 3 hours, which is beautiful. And then you're not getting up all night long. because what's beautiful about all the work you do during the day is all that bladder retraining during the day, getting your bladder to hold for not just 1 hour, but eventually an hour and a half, and then 2 hours, and 2.5 and 3, is going to pay off at night. Because as that bladder does learn to hold fluid and learn to stretch, it's going to be able to hold more at night. So then you won't be getting up to pee all night long. So really the work you do in the day pays off at night. So you don't have to think and do urge suppression at night. It's just going to get better on its own as you do the work during the day. So that is not absolutely everything you need to know to retrain your bladder, but it's a really good first place to start, to figure out, okay, how much am I drinking? How's my poo? What are my bad habits? What are some good habits to start to retrain this? Drinking more water, practicing a little urge suppression. And then if that's still not working for you, go get help. Hopefully you've already ruled out any negative things with your doctor. There's no pathology going on. You always want to rule that out. See your doctor first, make sure there's no pathology. I always encourage you to go seek the help of a pelvic health physical therapist or women's health PT, because there's a lot of other things that we can do addressing the tummy and fascia around that bladder and how much tension's on that bladder. So there's a lot of other things from the PT side of things that we can do to help you. But in terms of just what can you do at home and what do you need to know, this is a really good place to start. So I wish you the best of luck in retraining that bladder. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email, visit the website, like, subscribe, and share, and I will see you soon. Have a wonderful day. Take care.